Hello, this is Lorena, and I'm here to discuss a topic that is very dear and close to my heart. So, what am I going to be here to discuss? You see nothing on screen except this background and this VTuber model, right? Well, I'm going to address that in a second, but first, I need to explain what this video is about, and the title isn't really. Well, it says what this video is about, but it doesn't say everything. There's like a character limit and all that. So, this video is about how the YGO franchise has shaped my spiritual practices and beliefs. By the way, check the description for trigger warnings as applicable. And just see if any of yours are there, and if they are, well, you don't have to watch this video if you're not comfortable doing that. So, please don't risk your mental health just to watch this. So I will start by putting Yugi on the screen. He is the protagonist of DM, the series that most YGO fans are familiar with. And DM has probably been discussed to death, but you know, there is something that makes him relevant to this video. You see, as the protagonist, Yugi is the holder of the Millennium Puzzle. When he was putting it together, he had one wish. He wants friends. And he got friends, but he was bullied first. And Yugi protected one of the people that bullied him from a bully that was much worse. And the bullies supposedly exist in 5Ds. I don't want to explain the logic of that. Anyway, so after making friends with someone that once bullied him, he ends up making friends. He gets friends like he wanted. And you know who else wanted friends? Me. I wanted friends. I was bullied too. So, where does this take us? Well, the spirit of the Millennium Puzzle. The spirit of the Millennium Puzzle is this guy right here. His name is Yugi. No, that's not his real name, but for the purpose of this video, I'm calling him that. Yeah. So, basically, you know, I forgot a lot about the damn plot. You know, the whole overall arcing story about him trying to figure out his real name. There's a lot of complications that I've completely forgotten. Anyway, Yugi and Yugi are especially important here. Because when I was in 7th grade, I experienced what I perceived to be a betrayal. Yes. In 6th grade, I befriended someone that was new. In 7th grade, that girl no longer wanted anything to do with me because she was new. She was no longer new anymore, so she just started to bully me. And I was upset, very upset. And I was jealous of Yugi for his relationship with Yugi and honestly his other friends in general. I wanted friends. Guys. I wanted them bad. But, you know, I was not actually of the belief that you could have friends that I was thinking of, you know? Like, I wanted spirit friends. I wanted them too. But I didn't think that was possible. And, well, I found out later that it was indeed possible. And being able to talk to me in my head doesn't actually change anything. I was still lonely as hell. And that was painful. But, I mean, there's another reason Yugi is on here, by the way. He was warped by my brain. Yeah, that's right. He was warped by my brain. He's a victim of my brain's nightmare fuel abilities. I'm sorry, Yamyugi, but that dream happened, that nightmare happened. You reminded me of my trauma, and I was not old enough to deal with that appropriately and responsibly. I would apologize, but my brain could easily do it again, so I'm not sure if I should. Yeah, Yamiyuki basically is involved in one of the only flashback dreams I've ever experienced that went straight. Like, it was a straight on re experience of trauma I've experienced in the past. And that was terrifying. But that's not spiritually related, is it? Not really, so we're going to move on to the next series. And by the way, the next series involves a protagonist that can see spirits. Yeah, spirits. I can't see spirits. Oh well. So this guy is Jaden. For the purpose of this video, I will be using the dumb names. I do not like the dumb names, but I'm using them for consistency. And also because, well, it's just easier. It's just easier to find them with their dumb names. Dumb names, apparently. But I am not restricted to using the censorship that 4Kids gave the series. So the franchise's censorship is not relevant in here. Goodbye, censorship. Goodbye. Okay, so Jaden can see spirits, right? So how is he relevant to the entire story? Well, I wanted friends, spirit friends. You can see where this goes, right? You can see where this goes. Yeah, but really there's another reason that Jaden is on here. Wait a minute. Before I get to that part, I'm going to show someone else. Sartorius here. Sartorius, well, is the shortest entry here. Because, to be honest, he didn't really do a whole lot. Yeah, that's right. He was the main antagonist of an arc, and he did nothing much, really, for me. But he did get me into tarot cards, and I've got 3 now. I could buy another one at any second. I've got money. Yeah, not much, but I've got enough for a deck of cards. Okay, so I'm not sure how he got me into tarot cards, but he did. And now I practice reading the cards, and I can do it better than he can. Okay, well, maybe I'm just being mean to him, but you know what? After what he did in season 2, he deserves it. You're an antagonist, dude. Deal with it. Okay. Now this is going to be very awkward to discuss, but I'm going to do it. Okay, this is Jaden and Yubel. Yubel is a dual spirit, but they and Jaden know each other from past lives. And this is basically a connection that surpasses death. And Jaden was reincarnated as the person you see right there. And Yubel, well, did a bunch of bullshit during season 3, but they got better, and Jaden forgave them for everything they did. I don't know how he managed to do that, because my memory sucks, but he fused his soul with theirs. And why is this relevant to my spiritual path? Well, I kind of see some of myself in Yubel, and I'm plagued with guilt. Yeah, I know. Oh, it's probably actually disturbing if you know what Yubel did. Well, I didn't go as far as Yubel, but I was not necessarily the kindest person to my spirit friends when I was younger, because I didn't realize I had spirit friends at the time, and I was very much in pain. A lot of pain. I was not in the best state of mind. My antidepressants weren't working very well. I can't explain what was going on there, but yeah. So my spirit friends basically don't hold any shit against me, but they will call me out on any present day shit. So I don't get out of any jails free. They will call me out on my shit, and I will have to. They don't lie to me. They tell me when I've done something wrong. And this connection especially reminds me of one in particular. You know, well, I'm very hesitant to talk about. I'm very hesitant to name drop here because it's a bit of a sensitive topic. It's very difficult to talk about this because, well, it's, you know that relationships are a bit complex and you can be very vulnerable in relationships, right? Well, I don't really want to, I don't really want to throw my relationship with someone else in someone else's face. I don't think that's very respectful, and I did make things right, but I still feel guilty because no matter what, no one on this planet is ever going to live up to what I've got with this one single person who is very familiar to me, who was very familiar to me years ago, a decade ago, and that was a very interesting time. But basically, the relationship I have with this person is like one where we've had lives in the past together. Past lives. We've shared times and all that. And yeah. Now, our relationship isn't really like Jaden and you Bells, but it can't be like you Bells or Jaden's because you Bell, you did some shit to hurt Jaden, okay? And now, if I was to hurt this one person, I'd feel pain. More pain than it would be unbearable. It would be unbearable. I wouldn't be able to deal with it. And you know how I know that? Because I accidentally did that once. And I couldn't do anything until I made amends. So I can't do what you Bell did to Jaden because I'm too close to this particular person. And I know that. But in spirit, this one person and I are extremely close, and our souls are deeply interconnected, and our paths are interwoven around each other. And if you'd like to know more about our relationship and the connection we have, just look up the term twin flames. I am very careful when using this term, and I hate the label itself because of everything that's associated with it nowadays. All the marketing schemes and all that, the fact it's monetized, used as a way to take advantage of someone's broken heart and all that shit. Well, it's still a good way to know what kind of connection I've got here, even if I'm hesitant to use the label. And now, let's continue onward. This is Akiza. Now, I wanted to use her actual name, which is not Akiza, but I said I would stick to dumb names for consistency, so here I go. Now, Akiza is a psychic duelist from YGO 5Ds. She has magical powers that have terrified people and made her an outcast in society. She views a particular mark on her arm as a sign that she is cursed. She hated that mark. And now, I do not have the kind of destiny or fate that she does, but I know what it is like to be outcast by society and other people because you're different. When I was bullied, that was because I was different. Those bullies probably singled me out because I looked weak. And how did I look weak? I had no social support. I felt I was alone. Completely alone. It was very painful, but I got better. I got better, as did Akiza, in fact. She also got better. And now I relate to her more than ever. And I've got a story to share here. I don't remember which year this was, but I was playing one of the World Championship games for 5Ds. I was playing it on an emulator because I wasn't on Social Security yet. Actually maybe I was, and I don't know. I definitely did not have the video game console required to play it. So I had to use an emulator, and I was bitter that the player character was not made into a psychic duelist. And you know what happened? Well, it seemed to awaken something in me. It seemed to be a clairsense in some form, maybe some form of clairvoyance. And that skill has been developing a lot recently, to be honest. Almost to a point where I can't even go into a card game without knowing the outcome of it. I don't necessarily like that, but at least what I'm doing, the outcome is pretty predictable most of the time, even without clairvoyance or any other clairsense to be mentioned. Now I've got someone else I would like to say, because while Akiza is someone that I closely relate to. I relate to all the pain and suffering she experienced, because I'm also different from other people, and that was a source of pain for me as well. But she's not the only person that this kind of thing will come up with. So I'm going to discuss some other shit later on with some of those other characters. Now, who's next? I forgot to add someone to the... Give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. I forgot to add the character. Okay, I forgot to add them. That is my fault. But I tried to prepare this video in advance because I wanted it to go smoothly. But I messed up. I forgot someone. Okay, hold on while I fix this. I'm going to have to find a picture of the person I'm talking about here in a second. Okay, hold on. I apologize for all of that, because I truly thought that I had everyone. I thought I had everything, but at the back of my head I was like, am I sure? And oh god, I wish I remembered, but now I'm stuck having to find a picture of that one person. Hold on. Man, this is so disorganized. Okay, can my brain speed up here? Can my brain speed up where I put this image? I could have sworn I saw... Okay, I think I've got what I want in this folder right here. Give me a second. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to put this up because it's funny and hilarious and I relate. Okay. This is the person that I forgot about. I'm sorry, Emma. You deserve much better than this. Anyway, the subtitle does indeed say, "It's no use, I'll die, I'm going to die." And that's actually from the subtitles version of the series. I've got some episodes with subtitles, but not the entire series, unfortunately. Anyhow, this is Yuma, and he has a spirit friend named Astral. And you know what? And not everyone believed that Astral was real. So, I've got something special to say. Stop telling me my friend doesn't exist. That's pretty much what Yuma was like. He was like, dude, Astral is real. I'm not making him up. And for the longest time, the other characters could not see Astral for the life of them. And I think this changed later, but yeah, not everyone can see Astral. So the series started out with him just having to argue that his alien friend does in fact exist. And it was painful. But it reminds me that many people could tell me that my spirit friends don't exist. And I'm just like, stop. Listen, guys. I cannot make up everyone I've got here. I tried with one of them and it didn't work. I've experienced shit that I thought I never would. And you would not believe the things I've gone through because I met someone so very special to me. And yeah, I wanted to put Yuma up here because I relate to the whole invalidation thing. And also, this series as a whole is the last time I remember functioning sort of normally. I'm starting to regain some functionality that I lost. But this is the series that I was so nostalgic for a long time. Because it's the last time I remember truly being able to have fun. And that is very, very painful for me to know, but I'm getting that enjoyment back eventually. I'm sure I'll be back to normal. And because I know you guys can't tell that I'm unable to have fun and experience enjoyment. My body sure can, but for some reason my consciousness is a bit disconnected from that. And I don't know how to explain it to anyone because, trust me, even spiritual people would probably be confused. Now, who's next? Yuya. And what is his experience and what is his contribution? He didn't do much. The series didn't do much in general in terms of spiritual experiences. But you see that pendulum there? It goes both ways. I would definitely get a pendulum just because of Yuya. But I can't really do anything with a pendulum in terms of spiritual stuff because my hand shakes too much. I don't know why it does that, but my hand would shake so much, the pendulum just wouldn't be able to give me any accurate answers. So, yeah. But I definitely would hardcore buy a pendulum just to wear it like Yuya is doing right here in this picture. And that is all Yuya has done for me spiritually. He has done other things for me though, like helping me learn how to provide constructive criticism. But that isn't a spiritual thing, that's just a different skill entirely. Now, we are coming to something very dark. Be careful what you wish for, guys. Because Yusaku is that person for me. I wanted a protagonist I could relate to. And you know what the universe said to me? Okay, here's Yusaku. And I'm like, I didn't mean it that way. But it was actually a very interesting experience for me because I kind of... Well, this series exposed how serious my writing was at that time. And I was like, this series reminds me of what I've been writing. The quality is similar too, and that's terrifying. But now, my writing isn't all dark, and I like that. I like it. And now, Yusaku is what I was referring to with Akiza, because I've experienced childhood trauma. I was very young. I was actually another character's age when it happened. The character in question is named Revolver. What's his dub name? What is it? I don't remember it. It was something related to guns, I think. Varys? Oh god, I am so wrong. Sorry guys, but I don't really know what to say. Because I know I slipped up here, but I know. But he's not a big picture. He's not a big part of the video. I messed up the consistency. I'm sorry. Well, Revolver was the guy that helped Yusaku through his traumatic period in life. And I'm not sure how Yusaku was able to, to be honest, I'm just thinking about what Yusaku went through, and I'm like, that would have destroyed everything I had. Everything. Anyway. I don't know the dub names for Reigns because there is no legal way to watch the English dub of Reigns. As far as the United States is concerned, and as far as recent knowledge has been concerned. So, unfortunately, I can't even watch the dub. And now there is another thing that I would like to mention. I have a very special connection to the Dark Element. So what did I think when this character showed up? The Dark Ignis. I will refer to the Dark Ignis as the Dark Ignis in standard Revolver fashion because I speak English. Very difficult to call this guy by his name when I speak English. Seriously, Yusaku, you hurt my brain. Okay, so I thought that my opinion of this character would change by the end of this series. And I didn't really like the Dark Ignis at first, but I fully expected this would change, and guess what? It changed. It very much changed. And there are things I can't really talk about in this video, but I've got a pretty spiritual connection with the Dark Ignis. I can't explain what it is right now because I don't want to invite trolls, that have seen this series. Don't troll me, okay? Don't, okay? Just don't do that. Don't, please. I'm not trying to... Okay, whatever. Moving on. What about present day? Okay. So you see this guy right here? Yeah, I know the art style change is drastic, and I'm sure it shocks even non-fans of the franchise. So, I'm going to explain this for a second. YGO changed studios recently, and this is YGO 7, the first series that has the new art style change. I'm not sure if any other series will be in this art style or a different one. But at least so far, this is the current series that's ongoing. Now, for a while, I was thinking that maybe I'm dumb because do children in Japan know how to play this card game? Do they really understand pendulum summoning and link summoning? Are they able to play the card game that well? And you know what? You're introducing Yuga. He is very, very validating. He introduces rush duels, and some people don't like it. Some people think it sends a bad message. But listen, guys, I am validated by this boy right here. He validates my concerns and he tells me that no, you are not stupid. You just want to have more fun. I like this guy. I love him so much. He's young enough to be my child at this point because he's 11. Oh, God. Well, when I was Yuga's age... Yeah, Yuga is 11, actually, I think. And I just want to pay some attention to this character right here. Her name is Roman. And she begins to break the horrible trend of poorly written Yu-Gi-Oh characters that are female. She breaks through all of that. And there are other female characters in Sevens that do the same thing. But Roman is the one I've got the picture of right here, so it's easier to just pull her up. And now, here's a big one. Nail. When I was Nail's age, I too had problems. I too felt disconnected from everyone around me. I definitely had more exposure to humanity, but, well, I was seeing the dark side of humanity. The very, very dark side of humanity. I was very, very horrified. And, you know, I was like, hey, Mom, can I change schools? I'm getting bullied. And I was trying to avoid certain behaviors, but I ended up in a very terrible place. Because I was mentally unstable, my antidepressants weren't enough to keep me from slipping into self-destructive tendencies. I've got scars. I've got a scar from when I had the chicken pox on my forehead, so not all my scars are intentional. Some of them are because I had very poor self-control as a very young child. But I hate pain, so my past is weird because I've got a history of self-harm. How does someone that hates pain have a history of self-harm? Well, I guess I was just in that much pain. No, I think I was actually 12 when I did that shit, but I can't remember. I just know my arm is scarred. And now, why am I bringing him up? Because I was trying to resist. He was isolated for his entire life, and he has extremely limited exposure to what it's like to be human. And he's basically a genius in many ways. But he has very poor emotional intelligence, just like most people with a lot of intelligence. Yeah, and I was like, I don't relate to this character, I don't relate to this character, I don't relate to this character. And then a certain episode was released. He felt alone. And I started to cry because I too felt that pain. I too felt alone even though I'm not. But as far as physical people are concerned, I am physically alone for the most part. Even though I do live with people in my house, and I'm not as isolated as Nell is, I'm still isolated a lot, heavily isolated, and developing empathy was not the easiest thing for me to do because I was a very strange teenager. Let's just put it that way. So when I was 11, Nell's age, I felt very disconnected from humanity. And it wasn't until later that I started to slip back into that mindset, and I was like, oh God, this is the worst thing that could ever happen. Because it was like I manifested something that was forbidden, but I did something that made me forgive everything. It's called My Dark Backstory, where I believe I am an alien. And am I an alien? Well, I'm physically human right now, but I used to believe I was an alien for the longest time, and some of that was pretend, but I think some of it was taken past that. I I know that my imagination blurred the line a bit for a while. And I can explain in astrological terms what may have been going on there, but I don't really want this video to go too in depth with astrology because this is a video about Yu-Gi-Oh's influence on my spiritual practices and beliefs, okay? This isn't a video about astrology. I can make a different video for that. So what does this all say about my spiritual path and my practices? Well, Sartorius is why I now have a practice for tarot reading and all that. He is behind that. He is behind that. Though it was definitely several years later before I finally actually got my first tarot deck. And let me tell you, you can tell I've used my tarot deck a lot. You can tell. Let me tell you, you can definitely tell. That new look it had, it's not there anymore. It now has this used look. But the cards are still very much in good condition. And this brings me to something. I feel a connection to cards. All kinds of cards. It's very interesting, actually. Because I feel a connection to certain decks. Some of them are trading card decks. Some of them are tarot decks. But I actually have a special connection with certain cards because this series probably nailed that kind of thing into my head. Although Vrains didn't. Vrains is an exception because in Vrains, drawing is not fun. Although, actually, I wasn't having much fun when Vrains was airing. No, now, I've got something else I need to say. When I actually made an error here, I was going to mention something else before Sevens, but I'm going to talk about Dark Sides of Dimensions for a second. Because after Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains ended, I experienced the 5 stages of grief. Yeah, I know. It was very tragic. I went through all 5 of them until I finally realized, okay, look. Vrains was a depressing series. It's good that it ended. It's good. Do I really want a series that depressing to make 2020 worse? No, I do not. Now I sit here with this ongoing series called Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, and has now rebuilt himself and learns to be human. Yeah, learns to be human because he is human. I am probably going to be having a similar process. Because unfortunately, I relate to this guy. I relate. He may be 11, but when I was 11, I felt the same way as he did. I felt very alone. It was not until I was 12 that I started wanting friends that could talk to me inside of my head. I didn't want to have to hide anything. I wanted to be completely accepted for who I am. I wanted people I could share secrets with and all that. And you know what? I got friends that I can share everything with. There's no need for secrets. I got that. I didn't think it was possible, but it very much is. And I was glad to know that, but I am still isolated. That still affects me. That episode with Nail saying he feels alone made me cry for a reason. And because it resonates. On a spiritual level, I am not alone. On an internet level, I am not alone. Physically, I live with other people. But emotionally, and in terms of physical relations, I'm not really close to many people. I gave that up. I gave that up because I felt I needed to. And I knew what I was doing when I did it. I knew I would be going through a lot of pain by doing this. So, I have some beliefs that I haven't gone over, but I believe in bonds. A lot of belief in bonds. I believe that beyond the physical realm, bonds last forever. They cannot be destroyed. They are forever. If you have a friendship, it lasts forever, for eternity. I know a lot of people probably do not compute here, but I do have this belief. Is it true? Well, my beliefs getting challenged is something I'm dealing with right now. And, well, Nell's belief is getting challenged. He's starting to have to rebuild himself. And I hope that he doesn't fall into self-destructive methods in the way that I did. And now, obviously, Sevens isn't as dark, so he won't. But, when someone feels alone, that's definitely very depressing, very dark, and, that phrase could result in anything later on. He may be a genius, but geniuses alone cannot fix their social problems. They need to fix it with more than just brains. And on that note, I also have had to develop emotional intelligence. When I was his age, I didn't have much empathy. I was very much sucked into my own problems and self-absorbed because I was in pain. I didn't know how to handle all this shit that was happening to me in a responsible way because I was just so young. I didn't know how to deal with all the things I was experiencing at that time. So I dealt with it in a very immature way. But I don't know. I still was resisting relating to this guy because I'm not a genius. I've said this already. But guys like Neil kind of... I can't avoid it. I relate. I have to accept it. I'm probably going through a similar phase as he is, and as we will see in future episodes. But hopefully his journey will not take as long as mine will. Hopefully. Now, I do want to mention that my beliefs and my practices are still developing. I'm new on this spiritual journey. I've got a lot going on with me right now. My views of reality are being challenged again. What I believe is possible is being challenged again. And that is, I don't know, it's just, this is a different story. It's different from the first time this happened. This is something that's a bit more difficult to trust in and believe. But if this is anything like last time, that resistance is going to get... That resistance is going to clash with me until I finally accept it. I adjust my beliefs. I learn to believe and accept what is real. Yeah, I don't really know how I feel about everything that I'm being challenged with right now. But in much of the way that Nell is dealing with, I have to rebuild myself. I have to rebuild my identity. I have to find a way to socialize and connect with humans. I am a human, so I should be able to do this no problem, right? Well, I may not be as isolated as now, but I was still isolated. I still am isolated, and that's pain. So Yusaku is also isolated, but we don't know what happened to him at the end of Reigns. My assumption is he's out there somewhere. We just don't know where. And the series doesn't address that. Seriously, Reigns, why? My hope is that answer will come in through Duel Links. Will it? Well, and that's called wishful thinking right there. That's wishful thinking. I better hold back my expectations or I'm going to get disappointed. So all of this is going to is coming together. And I feel like this series is the best way to get through to me. If the universe wants to send me any kind of spiritual message, this franchise is the way to do it. Either that or Cardfight Vanguard, apparently. I have a video ready for that series next. I will be going over it shortly, right after this video is done processing, and yeah. So, as this series continues to shape myself going forward, my spiritual path, my beliefs, everything, I am going to have to take a look at these series and see a much deeper, and find a much deeper meaning and connection within them. Because the universe is like, we can send you messages through this franchise. Did you forget that? Did you forget? Yeah, I did forget. Yeah, I forgot. And you know, I didn't expect what happened here. Okay? I did not expect to relate to Nail so much. But I was deluding myself. I was very much deluding myself. So how about I talk about someone else? Roman. Hold on. Hold on. Roman, I too go batshit when I'm hungry. I too go completely batshit. I am hangry whenever I'm hungry. Yeah, I totally relate. I pretty much go berserk. And back to Sartorius. I don't know if I can pronounce his Japanese name correctly. So I had to dedicate myself to sticking to dumb names. I had to stick to dumb names because of him. But to be completely honest, I messed that up because I can't remember the Revolver's English dub name. And to be fair, dub name changes are ridiculous. I hate them, and most of them suck. Okay. And now there's actually something very interesting I'd like to say. Why did I get rid of the background? That was weird. I need a new background for the next video. I'm going to have to find one. Preferably one that doesn't clash as much with my hair. So how am I going to wrap this out? Well, the series is ongoing. And Sevens is actually, it's bringing up some thoughts about my inner child. My inner child has emerged a bit lately. She is still wounded, very heavily wounded. And I know, but I think I can heal her. I think everything will be fine. But I'm very resistant to actually dropping all of that pain, healing from all that trauma. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm trying to do with Self-Love September. I figure out how to undo that shit. Anyway, that's the best I can do for right now. I might do a better video on this later, but after some thinking. And probably more self-reflection. I just wanted to explain how this series has influenced me on my spiritual path. Because it has, a lot. And the universe sends me messages through this franchise, apparently. And Yusaku is the definition of be careful what you wish for. Although the universe has done this in more than one way. So, when I think about Yusaku, I think about I want to relate to someone in a positive way. I've forgotten how. You know what this means? After you learn how to relate to someone in a positive way. I have no idea how I lost that ability. Dear Lord, I have to develop it. I have to get it back. And I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will. So, since the YGO franchise is ongoing, I can't make a complete video about all of this. So, we'll see if it has any more influences on my spiritual journey going forward. This is Lorena, signing out, and please remember, I've got another video coming up soon.